Alright, so I actually just got a question on Facebook, and it was somebody that's been doing the challenge with this pretty, um, very long, and they said that they were having a hard time still kind of understanding how to go about getting their numbers right and all of those things, and just kind of asked how I did it. So instead of just answering to them, I figured I'd make another video and answer for everybody. Right, so I'm a pretty big creature of habit, meaning that my breakfast on a normal day is pretty standard. What I usually do is I usually have 3 or 4 eggs. Those are whole eggs, and then I usually have them in a wrap, or I'll have some sort of wheat bread or Ezekiel muffin. So right there, I've already knocked out a significant amount of carbohydrate with whatever it's going to be, whether it be the bread, the wrap, the muffin. I've got a pretty decent chunk of fat from the eggs, and I've got some protein, not a ton, and obviously there's some fat and some protein in the breads as well. But right there, that's pretty much my staple go-to breakfast. Probably I'd say at least 4, if not 5, maybe even some days 6 days a week. If I go out to breakfast somewhere, if I go out to a restaurant and have breakfast, then I'm probably going to have something very similar. And those of you that have gone to breakfast with me know that I usually order 4 eggs over easy. I usually get a side of wheat toast. I usually ask for a cup of spinach. Every once in a while, I might get a steak and eggs, but that's pretty easy. It's pretty consistent. So then I log that, and I know, okay, hey, I've already had, for me, I'm consuming around 26 to 2,000 calories a day. Obviously, that's really different compared to what a lot of you guys are having. But you could use the same mentality of having that breakfast and seeing where that puts you at so far for the day, and then you have your lunch. So my go-to lunch, the majority of the time, is going to be either a balanced chef meal or some leftovers that I've cooked from before, right? So the balanced chef meal is pretty easy. I take a look at it, and I say, okay, look, this is pretty high in protein, right? The balanced chef meals that I always pick tend to be chicken and rice, balsamic chicken, steak and greens. I usually pick one that has a high amount of protein, right? So I've got my macro breakdown right there, and I plug that in. So now, okay, I might be at 1,200 calories, and I'm noticing, okay, maybe I've had high carbohydrate so far because I had chicken and rice. So what I start thinking in my head is, okay, dinner tonight, I'm not going to have another sweet potato. I'm not going to have another cup of brown rice. I am running a little bit behind in my protein, or I'm running a little bit behind in my fat. So maybe it's going to be a piece of steak with some spinach, right? So towards the end of the day, it starts to become a little bit of a numbers game. You're seeing what you have left. Do you have a bunch of protein left? Do you have a bunch of carbohydrate left? Do you have a bunch of fat left? And then you start picking foods that you normally have or have around the house to make those numbers work, right? So, for example, if I had breakfast, I had lunch, maybe I worked out and I had a protein shake, and I realized that, okay, my protein is where it needs to be, but my fat and my carbohydrate isn't, I'm going to take a look and see what do I have floating around at the house that has got some fat and some carbohydrate. So it might be maybe some eggs, and something else for dinner, right? It might not be your conventional dinner, but it's going to be what drives my numbers to be where they need to be. Easy way to do this is, again, you just start building consistency in your meals. That makes life pretty easy. It doesn't mean it has to be boring, right? You can season foods, you can change things up. I just went grocery shopping last night, and I bought chicken, I bought turkey burgers, I bought 2 steaks, I bought some sausage, I bought a whole bunch of different stuff. So I'm not eating chicken, 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 or salmon, 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 salmon. But what I am doing is, again, I'm tracking these things that I'm eating, and I'm looking at the screen that shows me, and I'll actually add my lunch right now. The screen that helps me out is on MyFitnessPal. Is, again, I'm going to add my lunch real quick. So my lunch today was Balanced Chef chicken and rice. So balanced chicken and rice, enter. So far today I've had, I know you probably can't see it all that well, 1,600 calories I've had, and I've got 950 remaining. Okay, but what do I make that 950 out of? I go down to the bottom where it says nutrition, and then I get to the screen that looks like, I'm trying to turn it so you can see it. There you go. So you get to that screen that shows you protein, carbs, and fat, and I start looking. Okay, so tonight I've got 60 grams of protein left, I've got 90 grams of carbs, and I've got 39 grams of fat. And I know that's probably going to allow me to have one of the steaks that I have in my fridge and a decent amount of carbohydrates. So I might do steak, sweet potatoes, and some spinach, right? But now say maybe, I don't know, I had a double serving of chicken and rice for lunch. Then I would adjust that. I would look at what I have left and I would add or subtract based on that. So again, if you're just blindly eating and inputting everything at the end of the day, or every single day is completely different, you've got to build a little bit of structure in your days. So again, hopefully that helps. If it doesn't, ask a question, guys. I'll gladly answer your question and make a video based on what you wanted to know. So I hope that helped.